Hey, what's up? It's Theun, and today I want to talk about power creep in WoW and why it's kind of a big problem when it comes to healing, but also just encounter design and like damage intake and things like that. 'Cause it's been kind of a topic that a lot of people have been talking about recently, especially because of the MDI that has been going on this past weekend. Um, and this is also kind of what like a lot of the healers, including myself, have been like preaching about since Dragonflight beta. Healers feel way too powerful. We've gained too much power in our talent trees. We need something to change, and they ultimately didn't react quick enough. And now we're where we are now, where there's shortages of healers in PvP, Mythic Plus, and raid healing is probably the worst state it's ever been. So I'm not going to cover all the like same examples I did in one of my previous videos where I like looked at Sludge Fist and Razageth and oh my, look how fast we can top health bars and stuff. I kind of want to focus on what we've gained in Dragonflight, both like defensively and also cooldown wise, and why that can be a problem for encounters. Um, so, like I said, this past weekend the MDI was going on. Max, Growl, Dorky, Dratnos, JB, a couple other people as well jumped in, but they've been co-streaming the MDI, and Growl actually brought up a really good point when they were talking about defensives. I can't remember if it was during the co-stream or if it's in this podcast. I'll link the podcast below. But Growl brought up the point of like it feels like encounters have to bait defensives out of players now. Otherwise, how are you supposed to kill us, right? So he played Disc Priest on Fire Act, same as me. And essentially on Fire Act, if you get a mechanic as a Disc Priest, you have to press the defensive. So whether that's Fade, Desperate Prayer, or you also had 2 charges of Pain Suppression for yourself. And if you don't press something, then you're probably going to get one shot. And that's true for like most of the players in your raid, right? If your Boomkin isn't going bear form, they're probably getting one shot from 95% HP. It sucks, but that's just the nature of the game right now because everyone has so many defensives. So if they try to account for that with damage intake, then they're kind of expecting players to press those defensives. And if you don't, then you die. And I think that's probably one of the larger reasons why Mythic Plus healing feels so different. So this past weekend, Echo and a few other teams actually ran no healer in like 24, 25s, and 26s, I believe, were the key levels they were doing at the MDI. And like it looked fine, completely fine, no healer. They had like Ret and like VE from a Shadow Priest and stuff. So they had healing available, which that in its of itself is like a completely different topic. Those are all overpowered as well. But like you don't actually need a dedicated healer to heal through the damage because you just press defensives well and then you live. And I think that's the difference between like the high end groups and why the high end groups feel so much easier than like the middle or the low end groups where players don't press defensives and then your healer is really, really struggling to keep up or just not able to keep up at all. And that's, I think, why a lot of players just struggle in Mythic Plus right now. Anyway, so one of my friends linked me a video of it was a 13-year-old video all the way back from Cataclysm, and I just kind of want to show you or have you listen
Healing
to
without you having
what healing used to be like from Wrath coming into Cataclysm, and then like just kind of compare that to now, really quickly,
to reapply it.
because it was kind of
The game
interesting to
mechanics
me.
have changed a lot from Wrath. Blanket healing, a term used to describe the steady applications of HOTS to counter bosses' raid-wide aura damage, is a thing of the past. No current bosses have aura mechanics, instead you're presented with big burst damage that typically gives you a longer time frame to heal your group members back up. This encourages slower, more efficient heals such as the ones mentioned in the
Okay, so if you couldn't hear that, essentially they went from like super heavy rot damage that was always happening to like burst damage that happens, but you have like a lot more time to efficiently heal it up instead. And that's essentially what Sludgefest was for us in Shadowlands, which is literally one expansion ago, right? His healers were not powerful enough to instantly top people like we are now. So again, in my previous video, I compared Sludgefist and like Razageth and stuff. The profile looks completely different than what it used to, but this Cataclysm video is the same thing, as Sludge Fist, where you're efficiently healing people up, not like overspending mana. But mana is an important resource because you're able to like spend mana to try to top people, right? And right now, mana is in like such a weird spot. Completely different topic, but anyway, I just thought that was an interesting thing to point out. And then you go to where we're at now, where we've gained so much power, and it's like hard to actually like not have people at 100% or 0%. So I wanted to briefly look at kind of what we've gained between Shadowlands and Dragonflight. So, for example, just looking at like healing cooldowns, Rest of Shaman and Shadowlands had Healing Tide Totem, 3-minute cooldown. It wasn't very good, but still a 3-minute cooldown. Spirit Link Totem, and then you had the option to take Ascendance, but you often didn't because the other option was better throughput. So you would trade a cooldown for better throughput instead. In Dragonflight, we still have Healing Tide Totem and Spirit Link. You get Ascendance for free, and also that other option that I was talking about, you get that for free as well. And you get Ancestral Guidance for free. And Ancestral Guidance and Ascendance pair together really, really well to make like a super powerful cooldown, right? So that alone is power creep. We've gained way more power, way more cooldowns and stuff than we had in Shadowlands. And so that alone is a problem. So how do you need more damage events now to bait out more cooldowns? And then the other problem is defensively. If you look at like Mistweaver Monk and Shadowlands, they had a choice node of Diffuse Magic, Dampen Harm, and Healing Elixir, and a 2-minute Life Cocoon. I don't think this had CDR on it yet, but I may be wrong there. And then if you compare that to Dragonflight, they have Diffuse Magic, essentially baseline, Dampen Harm, essentially baseline, Expel Harm, which is a much improved version of a Healing Elixir, Fort Brew. I know this isn't very good, but it's still something that you can press. And then Generous Pour and Close to Heart. Both of these are like not talked about enough of just how good they are. And I didn't even list Life Cocoon, but I think their Life Cocoon's like a minute 20 or a minute cooldown or something now, and absorbs more damage. So like, how do you, like, going back to what Grau said, how do you bait out all of these defensives to finally challenge the player, right? And you're just not able to. And I think part of the problem is I don't see how they're supposed to fix this issue because all of this stuff is in our talent trees. So you have Diffuse Magic, Dampen Harm, Generous Pour and Close to Heart, Life Cocoon. So do you just get rid of those, or do you like nerf them, or like what exactly do you do in order to not have so many defensives to chew through so you can finally challenge the player again, right? Because we didn't have to have all these defensives in the past. So people saying that they're not tanky enough. I keep hearing hunters say they're not tanky enough. You have like 1.2 million HP and like 4 defensives to press. Now, yes, if you don't press them, you're dead. I totally understand. That's kind of the nature of Dragonflight right now. And I think that's, yeah, like I said earlier, I think that's just why people are struggling so much and why healing feels so stressful is you don't really have agency yourself. You're kind of relying on other people to do it for you. And then during your cooldowns, yeah, you can top people from 10% HP to 100% in a half a second, right? So I don't know how they're supposed to pair back defensives. That's something I think they have to solve. I don't know how they're supposed to pair back cooldowns. So we have both too many cooldowns and I think also way too many on short cooldowns. I wouldn't even mind seeing some cooldowns like getting pushed up to like 4 or 5 minutes. I know that's like not a popular take, but I don't see how they're supposed to balance this otherwise. And I really don't want to go into another expansion where healing feels like it did throughout Dragonflight. So that's kind of all I wanted to talk about today. Don't want to, bitch and moan too much about this topic that I've been relentlessly on about for the entire expansion. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, and I will catch you guys later.